Hi everyone, welcome back to the Jen and Sean Show. Today we are going to delve into a weekend that was both filled with adventure, events, music, horse meat, and all sorts of different shenanigans that went down. Copious amounts of champagne, Uber Eats, and just awesomeness that is around here in Melbourne. We had a visitor down from Brisbane, so we really took an opportunity to show them around some really cool things to do in Melbourne, and so happened to coincide with the Melbourne Cup. So we went along to that. So we give you a breakdown of the lead up to the Melbourne Cup, what happened on the day, but we also went to a really cool international concert, didn't we?
We did.
Who was that?
That was Coldplay.
So we'd had the tickets bought for a long time, so we went along to that. So we can give you a bit of a breakdown on what happened at Marvel Stadium with the last concert in Melbourne with Coldplay.
Yeah.
So let's get started. I guess let's just start with your sister coming down.
Yeah. So we'd organised that. Sorry, I'm just going to get comfy. I want to say a month before, and that was kind of a spur of the moment decision after a couple of reds to go, we should go to the Melbourne Cup this year.
Best decisions are always made with a couple of reds.
And then from that it was, we should get Kim to come down, because she'd been, I thought it was last year, but it was the year before.
Kim's your older sister.
Kim's my older sister, yes.
Yeah.
So we ended up ringing her and got her on board with that. Found out afterwards that she was actually a little nervous and a little anxious about it, and potentially thought about not going, but then was like, no, we're going to go. So
yeah, big ups to Kim. It was an easy decision to come down, and we're super glad that she did.
It was great. So we went, she came in on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So we headed out to the airport to pick her up, and I thought I will go and meet her at the gate, because if you haven't been to Melbourne Airport before, a little bit disorienting.
Yeah. Either works.
Whatever the correct word is.
Confusing,
there we go.
The word we're looking for.
And then, so we got in there, and it was interesting. I think the first thing that I'd never really noticed before, because we actually came in through the departures area, obviously to get to the gates where the planes arrive for Terminal 3. But when you come through security, they've got all the boards up with the flight times on it, but none of them in the main foyer area actually had the arrival times. It was all departing flights, but there was no arrival times.
So if you're thinking of dressing up like a chicken or a dinosaur to go and, welcome your guests, just make sure you know which gate they're at, because you might be wandering around like a headless chook for a good half an hour before finding the correct gate. So I grabbed myself a snack while we worked that out, but we ended up finding the right gate. She rocked up fresh as a daisy seemingly from Vegas, and the adventure started.
It did. So we decided, because it was early Saturday afternoon, we thought we'll head into the city and do a couple of touristy things first.
Beers.
And have some drinks, as you do. So we parked near, was it near Flinders Street?
Flinders Gate. It's tried and true.
Yeah.
It's one I go to all the time. Book online before you park anywhere in the city. Saves you megabucks.
Yep. There was quite a few car parks, though. I found that really good. It wasn't actually that packed at all. We managed to get a spot really easy, which was great.
Melbourne Cup long weekend. A lot of people, a lot of locals leave. So the whole city is pretty much your oyster.
It was great. From there, we wandered down to Hosier Lane to have a look there at some of the ever-changing artwork and graffiti up the lane there, which was really cool.
Hosier Lane, if you're not familiar, is one of the, if not the most famous alleyways, laneways, where they have street art, graffiti, always changing, as Jen was saying, but always very busy. But it's certainly really cool to look at. We've got a few pictures. If you follow some of our socials, we've got a few pictures of that. But it was a beautiful day, so everything was looking very vibrant.
It was gorgeous. And there was actually an artist in there that was painting something at the time. What were those shoes that he had?
Oh, they were...
Were they like
They looked
fish?
like
No.
Crocs had mated with a 3D printer. It was next level. I don't know. It was, something I'd never seen before. Almost like an exoskeleton for the feet. I was very envious. I'm on the hunt for some Crocs, actually, and some Gibbets, but I'm yet to find the right ones.
Yeah.
The hunt continues.
I know. It's a mission. And then we headed to a wine bar. I'm just looking here. I've got some notes today, so I'm a little bit organised with this. It was called Number 100. Now, you'd been there the week before, I think, with some work colleagues?
I think it was the day before or 2 days before. The Number 100 on Flinders Lane. I've walked Flinders Lane for years and had never spotted this wine bar. And perchance had gone in there with some of my work colleagues, and nary a beer was to be found, but there was platters of meats and cheeses and some really, really nice wine, as you would expect. And it really sampled that well. It was beautiful Pinot, and I thought, well, if we're coming into the city, this is an easy one because it was a short walk from where we parked up, and we like wine and cheese and meats.
Yeah. So it was a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, so it was a
nice.
good place to land. Coming in from the airport, wasn't too busy. Found a table, ate some snacks. What was the board we had?
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. Thank you. I can never pronounce it.
No. We had to get a little bit of an education on how to pronounce that correctly, but the lovely server at the restaurant assured us that that's right. So we've got that now.
Not too hoity-toity.
No.
It was really pleasant.
Very nice. So we stayed there, an hour or so?
Yep.
I think we were there. And then we headed down to the Transit Rooftop Bar, which is opposite Flinders Street Station in Fed Square there.
Dead set in the middle of Federation Square, behind the big screen board there. Bit of a landmark, really. Transport bar, has live music, but upstairs on the 3rd floor we took the lift because we're getting old. And
we've also been there before, so we know how many flights of stairs there were and didn't feel like walking up that many stairs.
Hells no.
Yeah.
And deposited us right on the edge of the rooftop bar, and it was great. It really delivered again. It was a beautiful day. It was great views, and it was really good for a visitor, I think, as well.
Really nice. Had a couple of cocktails up there. What were they? So they were about $25 each, which, I mean, part of me still goes, oh, that's so expensive, but I guess in this day and age that's about standard.
Probably.
Maybe on the higher end?
I reckon higher end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying a little bit of a high end for that. There are many, many other rooftop bars in Melbourne, and we'll probably make it a mission to go and visit quite a few of these in the future. But this one's a bit of an easy go-to because it's so central, so easy to get to.
Yeah, so that was lovely. So we stayed there for a bit. Thought we were doing a little bit of video footage there and ended up having about an hour's worth of GoPro footage looking at the ceiling and just recording our conversation because someone...
I like to create, what can I tell you? And when I picked up the camera, it was boiling hot and it recorded for an hour looking at the stars and skies. I haven't looked at the audio yet, actually, which might be interesting or might be just completely bland. Okay.
Yeah,
Glad we confirmed that.
No, we're not going to keep that.
Okay.
So no, that was good. And then after that, we headed back home. Got Kim settled in to her digs for the next few days. I think we stopped at Dan Murphy's on the way home.
Of course we did.
Because we had to stop.
Grabbed a trolley. Let's not muck around here. There was beers, champagne, red wine, and because we got influenced by that wine bar, we picked up a Pinot.
We did, which was lovely. And some of the bubbles that we had were quite nice too. There was a Tasmanian one there that we hadn't had before. That was nice.
Yeah.
And then that other one that we actually finished off last night, which I can't remember the name of it now, but it was one that Kim thought was something else. But yeah, I would rate it. It was good.
And just as a side note, we don't typically drink champagne that often, but Kim's, that's where her tastes go. So we decided to lean into that. And glad we did.
It was good.
Good prep for the Melbourne Cup.
It was.
Just FYI.
We got takeout Indian for dinner.
Second time this year I've only done Uber Eats. We're pretty spoiled where we live. We can pretty much walk 5 minutes and get anything we want. But we decided to rest up because going up and down those elevators was really exhausting.
Well, we did take the stairs back down.
Well, yeah, gravity.
To be fair, so
is your friend.
we're a bit exhausted after that. But the meal was really good. The delivery, I think, was a little bit lacking. Dear old, was it Harshit was the driver's name?
Yes.
Yeah, he took ages and then he got lost.
He did, and we're only 400 metres away, if that. So that was a little bit disappointing. But it was Priya's Indian restaurant here local in Point Cook. It was one of the restaurants we hadn't been to. We thought we'd give it a crack on Uber Eats, and by golly, it was good.
It was really good. Very, very tasty meal. We'll definitely get that again.
Yep.
So that was a good one.
So do yourself a favour. Go and get some of that action. It was really good. Couldn't finish it, so there's always big helpings there.
Sunday. What did we do Sunday? Okay, so Sunday we went to have brunch.
Yeah.
Because again, we thought, well, we've got a visitor here. We'll take her out and show her around. Normally we wouldn't go out for... Oh, sometimes we do, but it's not a regular thing.
We would do a breakfast if we're in the city.
Yeah, if we're going to the
doing
markets
something
or
like
something.
that. But normally, if we're at home, we just do whatever we do here. But I thought I'd Google, okay, where can we get a good breakfast? And the first one that came up was Little Violet.
Little Miss Violet.
Little Miss Violet. Great ratings, and was only 5-minute drive away. So I thought, okay, we'll lock that one in. What do you think?
Loved it. Loved it. Really cute little cafe, really nice atmosphere. The staff were awesome. The wait time on coffees was a little bit long.
You're really down on the wait times, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the coffees were great. So I thought, okay, I'll let them go for that one. The food was awesome. Very, very tasty.
It was very popular. When we got in there, it was pretty much packed. We found a really good corner table right at the back, so we could just, watch everyone and watch the food that was rolling through.
Yeah.
I ordered the big breakfast, and I'm so glad I did. It was delicious. I asked for extra bacon. Not extra bacon, I asked for bacon, but it was the first ingredient actually listed.
On the menu.
So, the bacon was good.
Yeah. It was
bacon.
good.
Bacon is always good.
It was. Then you had some other stuff to do on the Sunday, so I took Kim out to High Point shopping centre.
Otherwise known as...
Knife Point.
To be fair, we haven't been knifed.
No.
It's just a thing.
Now, that was the first time going there that I'd actually driven. Every other time you've driven, and I've been quite happy to let you. So that was a little bit of an adventure. Thankfully, I remembered which lanes cut out and the fact that you're sharing the road with a tram, which was something very new to Kim as well. And I was very mindful of not being the person that's getting dinged because they're stuck in front of a tram in traffic. So managed to get through that. That was fine. She was taken aback, I'll say, by some of the driving manoeuvres that we see down here a fair bit. A lot of people get very impatient on the roads and don't have a lot of spatial awareness, shall we say. We're kind of used to it now. But
and this is a really interesting take because when we go, or whenever I've gone to Brisbane drivers are shit house. They're all over the place, like driving Miss Daisy. And I make no bones about that. But apparently on this journey to Knife Point, Melbourne drivers outdid Brisbane drivers.
They did. They really did. It was a little embarrassing, to be honest.
Yeah, what
being
the fuck,
from
Melbourne?
Brisbane.
Seriously, lift your game. We've got tourists here, and now we're shitter than Brisbane drivers. Where does that leave us?
And I drove in Brisbane my whole life, and I'm aware of the shortcomings, particularly when it comes to merging. It's a Queensland thing. They don't like doing it. But yeah, this was a bit next level down here, so that was fun. I think she needed a bit of a Valium and a lie down after we got out. So we wandered around High Point, did some shopping there, waited, again, wait times at a cafe to get, what did I order? A matcha latte? And I think, I was standing waiting while Kim was finishing her frozen yogurt. So then she'd finished her frozen yogurt, came back, I was still waiting for my order. Then she went and got more frozen yogurt, came back and was sitting down again before it came out. So that was excessive to me.
Hot tip for the hospitality trade. I think if you're serving people, then you probably need to get it out quicker. Sacrifice a bit of quality.
People that had ordered after me got their orders before me, and I'm still standing there. But the two baristas, and I'm going to use that term very loosely because they were basically making smoothies and things that weren't related to coffee.
Drugs, meth lab?
No, they weren't doing that. They were just faffing about, and they were more involved with having their own little conversation and getting that out of the way than actually getting the orders out. So,
Okay.
yeah, that annoyed me a little bit. Well, not frustrated. Let's say frustrated a little bit.
No, you didn't go full boomer.
No, I didn't go full boomer, but I was tapping my foot by the end of it. Let's just say that.
Great.
So then, what did we do? We just came back after that. I don't think we did anything
Came back,
else.
we caught up. It was Sunday. We had a really big event to go to that night.
We did. We had Coldplay tickets. Very exciting. We'd looked ahead online to see what time the band actually went on. So we knew that we didn't... Because the gates opened at 5. I thought, we're not going to get there at 5 o'clock. Now, the thing with this one... So when I booked the tickets, which I think was back in like January or February, it was at the start of the year... And
big fanfare, must say.
Oh.
When you got them, it was like, I've gone and done a thing.
It was hectic getting on. I was in virtual queues and waiting in virtual lines, and the tickets were selling so quickly. Now, when I actually got them, on the tickets, it had seat numbers. So I assumed that we had seats. And it wasn't until, I think, the day before or the day of, looking at the tickets when they came through on the Ticketmaster app, that it was like, no, general admission standing.
I think that should be illegal for anyone over 45.
I think so too. And again, I would say, well, why would they allocate you a number on the ticket if you don't have a seat? Wouldn't it just be general admission standing, admit 1?
Yeah.
No, we had 13 and 14, and it had the specific area and the gate that you had to go in and the door and the row. So...
And let's be honest, when we got there, general admission standing, it was just like, join the melting pot of 40,000 other people standing around on the field, which had been turned into, you know, a multimedia menagerie of just... excellence.
Yeah.
It was really well set up.
It was at Marvel Stadium.
I was going to mention that before. Thank you for that.
Yep.
It was incredibly set up. We didn't want to get there for all the backup bands. We kind of just wanted to get there a little bit earlier than the main act and catch that, and away we go.
So we parked over at the District at Docklands, which we do pretty regularly if we're going in for something at Marvel. It's about, by the time you get out of there, about a 10-15 minute walk. I would say, down through Docklands there to get to Marvel, so not too bad.
Pretty typical car parking spot for carping.
You're on fire today.
I need
Car
to write
parking.
down. Yeah.
So yeah, got there, that was fine. There was a guy on the street out the front selling bootleg merch.
Oh, fake merch.
So
Looked pretty good.
Look, I mean, you probably couldn't tell the difference except for the fact that they were
50%
half price.
off.
Yeah.
And he even had FPOS.
Yeah, he had everything going on there,
all the
laid out on the
boxes.
footpath.
Yeah.
But we bypassed him to go to the official merch stand, and then inadvertently almost pushed in front of somebody else that was waiting, but I didn't realise that they were waiting. There was that guy that was ferrying people through, and we just walked straight past him. So, whoops.
Well,
sorry
again,
about
we're
that.
over 45. We have these blinkers on now.
We just go where we want.
Yeah. So we rocked up. It was still daylight.
Yeah.
We got our merch, put our T-shirts on, went in. It was packed. It was a sellout concert.
Oh, you got wandered by the security people, didn't you?
Yeah, but I think they wanted all the
I didn't
blokes.
get wandered.
Yeah, I think it's a bloke thing. I don't know.
I opened up my handbag and they looked in there, and then turned around and they were wanding you. And we got little wristband things, which I went to see Coldplay back in 2012, and they had the same sort of setup. There was a wristband that you got when you went in, and at various times during the show, these things activate.
Become part of the show.
I was happy to see that because it was very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No,
and
that was
3D
great.
glasses.
Yeah, they'll 3D glass. We've actually got some over here.
What we do?
Moon glasses.
Yeah.
For those watching the video, moon glasses. Very cool. So they were a keepsake. The wristbands were not. You had to give them back at the end. But they were all part of the show. So it involved all the audience with LED lights on their wrists, change colours throughout in time with the music, which was brilliant. And then there was a specific song for the moon glasses where when you had them on, the lights around your wrist and specific strategic lights around the ground also lit up in love hearts.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was lovely.
The concert itself, look, I've been once before again, and it was definitely on par. I was seated before, but having been standing, I had terrific view because I'm 6'5", so I can see great from anywhere. Whereas Jen, not so much.
Not so much. And then got some people in front, bless them, and they were having a good time. I don't begrudge anybody that, but they jumped up and down pretty much the entire concert.
Like a mini mosh pit in front of us.
But it's Coldplay. You don't mosh at Coldplay.
It was a little bit much, but they were young. They were like full of spirit, not like the other older people that were so full of spirit because they'd smuggled in their own vodka. And they were blind before it even started.
And obnoxious and rude.
They were dicks.
Yeah, they were dicks.
Let's be safe. Look, we didn't boomer them and send a... Oh, there's the sirens now, if you can hear that in the background.
No, we didn't boomer them, but I don't think... And again, and I reckon they were older than us.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, you don't do that. When you go into a concert, you're paying that much for a ticket.
He was a legit boomer, but he was acting like a 17-year-old, but he'd had a skinful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we strategically moved away from them as best we could because it was packed.
They kind of kept following us, though. Every time I looked over, they were moving closer again.
Yeah.
And to that other... the group next to us with that guy that I reckon is something to do with the music industry that I'm sure we've run into at other gigs before, but I just couldn't think of who it was.
We bonded with another little group.
Yeah, we did.
We had the moshers in front of us, the drunken boomers to the right of us, and so we sort of gathered in our own little clique. And
we formed a little entourage.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did. Overall, really great.
Yeah.
The backup band, Emmanuel? Support. He was... inspiring, truly inspiring. His story was also amazing. If you haven't heard about him, he's brilliant. X Factor,
Emmanuel Kelly is his name.
Kelly, yeah. Big ups to him. Coldplay was brilliant. Highlights for me, Yellow, but also one song that I hadn't heard before, which was kind of metal, which was really good. Fireworks going off, and anime on the big screens. It was really in my wheelhouse. I really liked that.
I think there was a good mix that they had too, because obviously the new album's out, so they've got to incorporate songs from that. But they had enough of their bangers, their hits, whatever you want to call them, in there as well.
There's enough there.
It was a really good mix,
Yep.
And then probably the only other standout, which is something nobody expected, was poor old Chris Martin falling through a hole in the stage at one point. And I think that's the only time that I've ever heard, 70,000 people all gasp in unison.
Oh my God.
But he was fine, thankfully. Some people in the front row caught him, so that was really good. But someone's going to be in trouble for not doing their one job that they had to do and joining the bits of the stage together.
Fine.
Yeah.
The concert wound up about 10:30 Sunday night, remember, and then
getting out,
walk back to the car park, and then
before we even got out though, getting out of the stadium itself. So
40 minutes,
I'd say so. And if you can imagine, like the field at Marvel Stadium, so we're talking a football field essentially, full of people, having to be funneled out through maybe 6 or 7 entrances that were wide enough for 2 people to walk through at a time. It was a mission.
It took ages.
Yeah.
But look, everyone was pretty chill. Not everyone was a drunken boomer. No. So that worked out pretty well. Then we traipsed back to the car park. And by this stage, this car park, I've experienced it before with footy games there. It's a shit show getting out. So the concert ended at 10:30. I think we ended up getting to bed by 1.
About quarter to,
And that was a 20-minute drive home. So I was a bit riggedy wrecked the next day for work, but other people had the day off. So that was good for you.
It was. I had put in quite a while back to have the Monday off because I thought, well, Tuesday's a public holiday anyway. I'll take the Monday off. And then once Kim was coming down, I also took the Wednesday off. So I actually had a really nice break. I had 5 days off, which was great. That was lovely.
Not so much me.
No.
And but that's fine. It was what it was. You girls got to do your thing. What did you even do on Monday?
Monday, you came and met us. So we went op shopping. Initially...
Prepped for Melbourne Cup op shopping, let's be clear. Because the Melbourne Cup is on the Tuesday, this is the Monday.
That's right. And initially when Kim first agreed to come down, I'd thought, okay, I'll take her out to Chadstone because that's one of those iconic Melbourne things that, people need to see. But she'd actually made a suggestion and said, what about we hit up some op shops instead? I thought that's a great idea. So I'd done a little bit of research, which I will come back to shortly, on best op shops in Melbourne, things like that. So we started off one of the local ones at Hoppers Crossing. Went to the Salvos there. I didn't have high hopes for what was going to be there. I thought, oh yeah, this would be a bit ornery. It was actually really good. There was a really good selection of stuff there. There was a lot more brand names than I'd expected to
Old
see.
Geelong Road, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Never been there. I've seen it
It's huge.
driving past.
Yeah. So that was good. And then after that, we headed over to Fitzroy. Did the salvos over there. Again, I managed to drive along the streets with the trams without getting
I'm impressed.
into anything. Although the biggest problem I had there was with, what's it called? Park Stay? Pay Stay. This parking app that you have to have. So it was a good half an hour standing next to the car trying to install this app, and it just kept circling back around to the payment thing, telling me to input my details, which I'd done 7 or 8 times. And I was at the point of wanting to throw my phone at the car.
Are we at that, that apex now where technology is befuddling
No. The technology was... And I was doing... It was on this endless loop. So thankfully there was a number on the bottom screen of the app. I ended up ringing Paystay. Lovely young bloke named Josh. Kudos to you, Josh. Thank you for your help with that. Managed to input my card details on his end, and then everything was fine. The only problem that I had with that was remembering to stop the parking after we'd left. So I probably overpaid by about $10 for that particular car park. But anyway, that was fun.
Not a bad thing, because I think the council needs it out that way. Because I came and joined you guys after I finished work. It was mid-afternoon, and Ubered it over to where you were. It was only 10 minutes away, which was great. And then joined your entourage for some bites to eat and so forth. And found that I hadn't really been to Fitzroy that much before. And
it's dingy.
What's with all the graffiti everywhere?
Yeah, it's dingy.
I don't get it.
It's dirty. There was a needle on the ground, a syringe on the ground. Not what I was expecting.
Maybe we're being too precious, or maybe we've been spoiled where we've lived.
Really?
No, it was actually a bit of a shithole.
It was grungy.
Sorry,
it was dingy.
but
no, I wouldn't rate it. Sorry.
Had some really cool art, sort of deco seats, and look, the shops were really cool, and we found
amazing little cafe.
Amazing cafe, great food. One of the best pies I've actually ever had over there too. The state of all your establishments though, with all the graffiti everywhere, is that purposeful? I don't know. I can only imagine it was.
It wasn't arty graffiti though. It looked.
No, it was tagged by just pissed off teens.
Yeah, so that was a bit but the guy that served us at that particular op shop that we went to there had actually said that their warehouse at Abbotsford was worth going to. So we were heading over there after that. Now, one of the things I noticed when I Googled best op shops in Melbourne, there was a timeout page that came up and listed off all these different places. But we went into one that was that Lost and Found in Fitzroy upstairs, and I was expecting op shop, okay? No. So this is the thing to be mindful of if you're looking for places like that. There's a very big difference between an op shop and what they call vintage cellar. And I think a lot of the ones that were recommended in this list were not actually what you would call traditional op shops. I mean, they had the Salvos and the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence and those ones, but all the rest of them, no. It was essentially an indoor market where you had all different people set up in their little stalls. There's one that we went to down at Geelong that was the same. But, $120 for a secondhand pair of jeans, that's... Yeah, no, not really what we were after.
No, not really hitting the spot. Again, I'm not a shopper per se of that, but I can tell that sort of setup is not kind of what you're looking for.
No, we want the bargains. We wanted to find the hidden gems.
And didn't we just? Though?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We did. So then we headed down to Abbotsford. Got a nice little park there once we found the non-work zone parallel park that we got into, even though I think that he secretly wanted to stay in the car while Kim and I went and did
kind of did. I was ready for a nap. It was late night the night before.
I know, but we weren't having it, so we went in there. Soon as we walk in the door, you've hit gold.
Well, I was really looking for some brown shoes and a tie to go with some fresh suits that I'd picked up a couple of weeks before, and lo and behold, 30 seconds in, size 12, brand new brown shoes. Oh, thank you very much. I'll take those. And then I spent probably a good 2 minutes rummaging through a tie box, trying to find just that special tie. And by God, didn't I find some gold.
You found the gold.
I don't have it on me, but it's a MCC tie, for those in the know. It's a Melbourne Cricket Club member tie from the Jazz era, I'm going to say. No.
The fanciness.
Yeah, it's blue, vibrant blue, purple stripes with the MCC logo, thinking, if I wear this on race day, it's going to get recognised by some old punters. I'm going to get access all areas. It's just going to be all doors open for Shauno.
You had high hopes for that tie.
Didn't happen,
Nope.
but I still felt pretty special
A bit
wearing this
snazzy.
tie. But anyway, I ticked off my 2 items, went back to the car, put the seat back and had a bit of a snooze. And you guys were there for some time, I must admit.
We were.
But, you know, you got some bargains.
We did.
Kim didn't get anything.
No, I got a few things,
Yeah.
which was, it's usually the way when I'm shopping with her.
So tick, op shop's done.
Yep.
Drove back home Monday night, ready for race day the next day.
Yep.
We got up early. We had planned to get there before the first race, with the, you know, putting together of dresses and hairs and things like that. Look, I was pushing it, you know. I felt I kept everyone behind because I took at least 15 minutes to get ready. Whereas, I don't know, you go elsewhere a couple of hours in and...
We had to do our hair.
Yeah. We missed the first race, but that's okay. We're catching the train. We, had always intended to go there by train, get on there.
But fancy Uber to the train.
Well, yeah, I spent an extra $2 on that Uber.
Uber
so we
Comfort.
could go in a Comfort Uber.
Rocked up in a Lexus.
Yeah, Lexus.
It was
pretty
so
fancy.
nice. Yeah.
Just to go 5 minutes up
And he was
the
in a
road to a
suit.
train station. He was.
He was very snappily dressed.
Yeah.
Had little bottles of water in the back. Leather seats. It was lovely. Very
No,
nice.
It worked out really well. So we went in a bit of style to the train station at Williams Landing, joined the procession of other punters when we got to North Melbourne, and then moved over to the Flemington train station line where there were carriages specifically for the races, and everybody was dressed to the nines, as you can imagine. It was about 10 o'clock, I think, by the time we got there, 10:30. And yeah, it was really nice, beautiful day.
Stunning
for it.
day.
And everyone was quite excited to get there. We didn't know what to expect. Hadn't been before on a Melbourne Cup day. I'd been to the races before, but not a Melbourne Cup day. And we got off at the station, wandered into the general admission. Let's be clear about that. This was not a box. This was not a private function or anything like that. We were
Although
just
this time
mixing
I
with the
wasn't
peaks.
expecting to have allocated seats, so we were okay there.
Such a princess. We wandered in and quickly scoped out the bars and eateries in the general vicinity that we'd come in at. And
Almost accidentally ordered a $35 a glass champagne.
yeah, so I sidestepped that faux pas when asking for champagne. Went for the sparkling wine instead, and I double booked myself with a couple of Stone and Woods and proceeded to wander around and try and find all the vaping areas that I possibly could, which was successful, actually. It quickly filled up, though, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Very, very quickly. Yeah.
I think over 100,000 people attend this based on my no research, and there was just
We'll get some
punters
numbers and put it into the notes.
Well, it was so busy that my first couple of bets had to be done by the TAB app. We're not sponsored by them, but giddy up if you want to. When I say we, I lost money. That's where the trend started, really, for me that day. But we continued to sort of ping pong between some of the bars and the eateries, and then we decided to go trackside.
Yes.
That was quite an experience. We didn't really know where to go. We got turned back at one gate because we weren't allowed in that particular area. We turned around, walk of shame back, and then found our way through to the lawn area out the front. There's probably a couple of pictures if you can see that. But if you can just imagine going into a coliseum behind you with just beautiful, what I can only imagine to be lawn out the front, but you couldn't see it because of all the people. And we saw a couple of races roll through there, which was great, but it got quite hot pretty quick. And then from there we decided, well, let's go, I think, grab a bite to eat, and we wandered back to where we sort of started.
Well, in between that, though, Kim's shoe broke.
Exploded, I
Yeah.
would say.
The sole just let go completely. Not now.
We've just been interrupted by a canine visitor.
So We had a couple of options there, which was to basically try and make off with an unattended pair of shoes, which there was several, by the way. I did notice that, but then figured that's probably not the right thing to do. So I said, well, let's just go and have a look in the merch building, because there was lots of merch stands, I guess you'd call it, around the place.
Yeah.
Let's go and see if they've got some thongs or something. Now, I wasn't expecting this at the time, but good on Flemington, because obviously there's been a need for this, and looking at some of the shoes that we're getting around on the day, I would say I can understand why.
They were doing a roaring trade
we're rocking
in these
through,
little slippers.
And lo and behold, now, if you're of the same vintage to me, you would remember back in the day Jiffies. They were like little slip-on ballet type shoes, but you used to be able to get these ones that folded in half, and they were in a little zipper pouch so that you could put them in your bag if you were going somewhere and needed to change your shoes. Flemington had their own fold-up Jiffy shoes. Most expensive ones I've ever seen, though, $35.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a beer cooler. I was pretty happy with that.
So we managed to get her a pair of shoes in there, which saved the day, because there was no way she could walk around with the duck beak flippy flappy thing that was going on.
No. Could have ruined the day. It was early on.
It was very early on.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd even been there an hour by that stage. No.
No.
Yep.
Old me would have just gone, oh, foy, oh, and just lost it. But no, you know, all about being
solved.
calm and rolling with it, and it did present a solution, and it was readily solved, which was great. Look, I found that whole environment really, really fun. It was a really long day though, being on your feet.
Yeah.
My big takeaway was probably wouldn't do it again. Just general admission. It's an expensive day anyway. Tickets are like $100 to get in.
Yep.
Beers and everything else. Look, you're looking at probably $13 to $15 a can.
Well, I bought. What did I get us? I got you a Stone and Wood, and I had a cider, and that was $29.
Yeah, very expensive.
Yeah.
So someone's making a lot of money, and it wasn't me, as I kept losing race after race after race. The food options were really good. They weren't overly expensive.
No.
We were able to find something for everybody, which was great. But they had some neat little tables, and it's a message. I should turn that off. They had some neat little tables and so forth down on the lawn, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So we were able to sit down there.
I'd be interested to note how much that would be. Like if you had a group of people to go, like I'd say at least 6, you can actually reserve these spaces on the lawn area where you've got your own little table, big sun umbrella over the top, and literally trackside, like it's right there.
And there weren't that many people there.
No.
I don't know why or what happened there, but they had probably 3 to 4 times the amount of room as the general public. There was bugger all people in there, but it looked nice because you had an umbrella on the tables and the chairs, and you could get served drinks and stuff out there as well.
Stay out of the sun.
Yeah. And so we were pretty close to the track and the actual race when it was raced through.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was good. Being close to the horses and all the horse meat running around with all their little mini people that were sitting on top of it. I still find it quite weird, honestly. But I do like a punt on the TAB app mainly. But we put a few bets on.
We did. We did. I had a couple of wins.
Yep.
Not on the main race.
No.
Sadly.
Who did, honestly? $10 each way would have got you $1,000 plus.
My cousin's husband did.
Well, it's not me, is it?
No,
I
it's
lost,
not me either.
I lost my shirt. My whole TAB account, Gonski. It wasn't a lot, but still. Yeah, it's symbolic of all my wins. But, great day. We decided to call it before the end of the day, but before we did, who else's shoes blew apart?
My shoe broke.
So,
But in a spectacular fashion. Literally walking along, because it had a strap across the toe, and I was taking a step and went, oh, there's a lot of air getting through there. And, yeah, it had let go. Thankfully, we were right near another merch shop.
and we knew exactly where to go and exactly what to get.
So now I have a $35 pair of fold-up Jiffy shoes, if I ever need them again.
I think there's a lesson there somewhere. I don't think it'll be learned, but at the end of the day, there seems to be spare shoes, trackside.
My shoes were very old.
They're Kmart shoes from 10 years ago.
At least 10 years ago.
At least 10 years ago.
And they were great. And they've lasted and they served their time well. So that's okay. I was all right to let them go.
All right. Well, my Salvo's shoes were great for the day. My tie, again, as I may have mentioned, didn't get me any special privileges whatsoever.
No.
the fashions that we did see were really quite out there. Some people really, I'm going to say it, kind of, I don't know, don't really, what's the words I'm looking for here? I don't know, get some honest friends to give you feedback.
Or a mirror.
Yeah. There's some outlandish outfits cruising around. Most people looked amazing, but there was some real fashion faux pas, shall we say.
I'm just going to say the whole body positivity movement has sometimes got quite a lot to answer for.
You know, and we're not raging models by any stretch. I mean, I had a tie from the 1962s, and it was, you know, my little splash of weirdness. And by all means, you do you. But again, just prepare to be judged is all I'm going to say. As I said, we were pulled up stumps a bit early. The crowd was sort of thinning out after the main race, so we decided to meander over to the train a couple of races before the end. Really well organised.
Very well organised, getting out. As you walk down onto the train platform, there was people there handing out bottles of water, which was great. And then the other thing we noticed was they actually had portaloos on the train platforms.
Winning.
So sensible.
So winning.
Amazing.
Definitely an edit that.
Yeah.
Thumbs up VRC, Victorian Racing Committee or Council.
And Splashdown.
Splashdown as well. So if you haven't seen the movie Kenny, that really does exemplify Melbourne Cup Day and Portaloos equally well.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a recommendation. Look, overall, loved it. Would do it again. Would do it a little bit differently.
I got ridiculously sunburnt.
You did?
Didn't feel it at the time.
No.
And I had sunscreen on. Didn't reapply though. So yeah, I think if we were going to do it again, we would be getting a group of people together and booking somewhere that's got some shade.
Some shade.
Yeah.
A chair. I don't mind lining up for booze.
No.
You can find, you know, bars that don't have horrendous lines. Some did. You've just got to sort of know your way around.
There was enough of them there though that you could sort of.
You could pick. Don't just join a line, people. I was giving punters assistance when I was walking past, loaded up with my 2 cans of Stone and Wood, and you know, just giving some friendly advice out. And I think that was well received. So I was being a bit of a beer angel on the day. So I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Beer angel.
I know. Well, that kind of wraps up where we are at the moment. We've done a lot. And we continue to do as much as we can. Not every podcast is coming out every week, but we're still putting them out there, editing them together. If you want to find out a little bit more behind the scenes, check out our videos on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, Jen and Sean Show, Instagram, TikTok not so much because I think our demographic doesn't really live there or know how to use it. Let's be honest. And
Not a fan of the TikTok.
Thanks, Mum, for giving our page a like. Awesome. Well, thanks again. Give us a like, give us a shout out, a comment. We'll probably see it eventually because nobody else is. Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Talk to you next time. Bye.